3 minutes ago, Senator John Kennedy walked into the chamber with two binders, one red, one blue. And then he officially confronted both FBI Director Kash Patel and Attorney General Pam Bondi with tough questions on the two most controversial topics in Washington: allegations of unauthorized surveillance and how the Epstein case was handled. Watch this video until the end, because Kennedy connects these two issues at one point. And his claim is this: if the decisions in the illegal surveillance debates and the Epstein investigation are under the same name's responsibility, then the issue is not isolated incidents. It could be a systemic problem. The moment he makes that connection, the direction of the discussion changes. Senate Judiciary Committee. Both of them had been at the table since 9 in the morning. They had easily deflected the questions that had come in for 5 hours. The session was almost over. Then the president gave the floor to Kennedy. Not 5 minutes, 15 minutes. At that moment, everyone in the room understood this. Kennedy had come prepared. 2 folders. One is red, one is blue. Both are thick. Both were particularly visible on the table. Kennedy looked at Patel first, 2 seconds. Then to Bondi, 2 more seconds. Then he started speaking in his distinctive, heavy Louisiana accent. Today, I would like to address 2 related topics with you. Today, I want to address 2 related topics with you. He opened the red folder. Unauthorized surveillance. Unauthorized surveillance. He opened a blue folder. Epstein files. Epstein files, and continued, I will show you this. The institutions that conduct extensive inquiries about Americans and the mechanism that covers up files related to powerful figures are part of the same structure. I will show you this. The mechanism that conducts extensive inquiries about Americans and the one that closes files on powerful figures are part of the same structure. There wasn't a sound in the hall. Red folder, 3.4 million. Let's get to the FISA 702 queries. Kennedy said. How many unauthorized queries did the FBI conduct on American citizens last year? How many unauthorized queries did the FBI conduct on American citizens last year? Patel was cautious. I don't want to give a definite number without clear statistics in front of me. Right now, I don't want to give a definite number without clear statistics in front of me. Kennedy lifted a document. 3.4 million queries in 2024. Local inquiries conducted without a court order. Local inquiries conducted without a court order. Then he returned to Bondi. How many of these inquiries resulted in prosecution? How many of these inquiries resulted in prosecution? Bondi replied, I need to consult the relevant statistics unit. It appears your message is empty. Could you please provide the text you'd like me to translate? Kennedy looked at the report. 0. 3.4 million queries. 0. Prosecution. So what exactly were you looking for? Patel leaned forward to answer. Kennedy raised his hand. Don't answer yet. I will show you what you are looking for. I'll show you what you're looking for. Blue folder. Queries for Congress. Kennedy closed the red folder. He opened the blue one. Now, let's get to the Epstein files. At that moment, the atmosphere in the hall changed. The journalists raised their pens. Committee members leaned forward in their chairs. In June 2023, the FBI conducted 73 separate FISA queries targeting communications of individuals connected to congressional oversight in relation to the Epstein investigation. In June 2023, the FBI conducted 73 separate FISA queries targeting individuals connected to congressional oversight regarding the Epstein investigation. He paused for a moment. 73. Directed at the Congress members who asked questions about Epstein. It appears your message is empty. Could you please provide the text you'd like me to translate? Patel tried to intervene. These interrogations are within the legitimate framework of counterintelligence. Kennedy lifted another document. He started reading the names. Representative Jamie Raskin and 4 staff members. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse and 2 staff members. 3 staffers from the House Judiciary Committee, and 2 informants from the FBI Miami office individuals expressing concerns about the Epstein files. 2 informants from the FBI Miami office individuals who expressed concerns about the Epstein files. Then he asked directly, you interrogated the informants. You interrogated congressional staff. Moreover, without permission. What were you looking for? Question to Bondi. Attorney General Bondi, Kennedy said. Did you know these interrogations were being conducted? Did you know that these inquiries were being made? Bondi was cautious. The Attorney General does not directly approve individual FISA queries. But you were informed. Kennedy interjected. He showed the note in his hand. An internal briefing note from your office dated July 2023. Under the heading, Sensitive Congressional Oversight. Under the title, Sensitive Congress Monitoring. He continued, you have been informed. You knew the FBI was questioning Congress members who were probing the Epstein files, and you didn't stop it. Bondi objected. This document does not mean authorization. This is standard coordination. Standard coordination. Kennedy repeated, slowly shaking his head. Connecting. Kennedy closed the blue folder. Now, I will tell you something that will be on record. Now, I will tell you something that will be recorded. He clasped his hands on the table. I think Congress got uncomfortable when they started asking serious questions about the Epstein files, which names, why some evidence is missing. He became even more disturbed when informants within the FBI said evidence was being suppressed. And someone with great authority decided that the way to address this disturbance was to monitor those who were asking questions. It appears your message is empty. Could you please provide the text you'd like me to translate? He looked at Patel. I think you used the FISA authority to find out who knew about the cover-up in the Epstein case. I think you used the FISA authority to find out who knew about the cover-up in the Epstein case. Patel reacted. This is a completely wrong characterization. Kennedy didn't interrupt. Turned to Bondi. And I think you knew this too. You received a briefing. You saw how the surveillance tools were used, and you allowed it to continue, and you let it continue. Bondi responded firmly. I absolutely reject these baseless accusations. The tension in the room was now clearly palpable. Critical question. Then answer a simple question, Kennedy said. He raised the document in his hand. A court subpoena dated August 2023. The House Judiciary Committee is requesting the Epstein files. An official notice is being sent to the FBI. However, there is no response. He turned to Patel. Was the surveillance under FISA used to delay compliance with this court subpoena? Was it initiated to determine what congressional staff knew? Was surveillance under FISA used to delay compliance with this subpoena? Was it deployed to determine what congressional staff knew? Patel spoke moderately. I cannot confirm or deny any intelligence activities related to congressional oversight. Kennedy slowly repeated. You can't confirm it, or you can't deny it. You can't verify it, or you can't deny it. Then he headed toward Bondi. Was the information obtained about what Congress knew used to shape the response to the Epstein case? Bondi's response was technical. Document processes are carried out in accordance with legal obligations. It does not rely on surveillance intelligence. Surveillance intelligence is not based on it. Kennedy immediately responded, this is not a clear no. A carefully constructed answer. Quite a carefully constructed answer. Final. 2 folders are merging. Kennedy took both folders in her hand. What the American people need to understand is this, he said. He lifted the red folder. 3.4 million unauthorized inquiries. 0 prosecution. 0 prosecution. He removed the blue folder. Epstein case. Resistance to Congress. Targeting of informants. Targeting informants. Then he placed the folders side by side. These are not 2 separate issues, parts of the same structure. The decision-making mechanism that broadly interprets surveillance authority and the one that closed the Epstein case are within the same system. One vehicle may be used to protect the other. An object may be used to protect another. He looked at the cameras. If Congress is being surveilled while trying to understand what happened with the Epstein case, that is a serious issue. And if 3.4 million queries are disclosed under the pretext of national security, the public has the right to question the consequences of this. And if 3.4 million queries are disclosed on the grounds of national security, the public has the right to question the consequences. He nodded slightly. Surveillance powers exist to catch criminals. If the public perception is that these tools are used to protect powerful individuals, then the real problem lies there. If the public perception is that these vehicles are being used to protect powerful individuals, then that is the real problem. The silence in the room carried the weight of the questions Kennedy had left behind. Last request. Patel said, the FBI did not target congressional members for political purposes. Kennedy never expected it. Then publish the query records under Section 702. Disclose the list of everyone mentioned in the surveillance inquiries related to Epstein. Release the main Epstein file to the public. If there's nothing to hide, show it. If there's nothing to hide, show it. The response was prompt. There are classification restrictions. Ongoing sensitive processes are at stake. Kennedy intervened. That's exactly the point. I cannot approve or reject classification. Sensitivity. A cover-up allegation is heard just like this in the public. People recognize this language. Then he closed the folders and stood up. Mr. Chairman, I request this committee to issue a subpoena for all FISA 702 query records related to congressional oversight from 2023 to the present. Additionally, I want the matter to be referred to the Inspector General's office of both institutions for possible misuse of oversight powers. I also want the matter to be referred to the Inspector General's office of both institutions, within the scope of possible misuse of their oversight powers. Echoes and reactions. The clip quickly spread on social media. The moment Kennedy placed the red and blue folders side by side, it changed the framework of the discussion. The issue was no longer two separate matters, at least according to the claim. It was two sides of the same mechanism. By the evening, some senators from both parties announced their support for the call to review the records. Organizations working in the field of civil liberties argued that surveillance activities concerning Congress should be investigated independently. Some former Justice Department officials, in statements to the media, indicated that if the surveillance activities targeting congressional staff are linked to the Epstein case, it could have serious consequences. The big question: 3 minutes, 2 folders, 1 red, 1 blue. Kennedy placed the decision-making processes in the Epstein case within the same framework of discussion as the surveillance practices. Now all eyes are on 2 points. Will the query records under FISA 702 be disclosed? Will an Inspector General review be initiated? Are these claims true, or are they a political commentary? What will determine this are the documents to be disclosed and the official investigations. The discussion is not over yet, and the real answers will become clear if the recordings are made public.